Hi guys, hi
Hello.
Siasan, hi Vyasa.
Hey.
How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good, good, good.
We are
So
great. We are
far,
great.
still doing well, I guess.
Praying for a good connection today, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
With the
been nice.
connection being a bit iffy with a heavy rain, it's raining cats and dogs over here a few hours ago. What about your sides? How is it going over there?
As you can see in KLCC,
Yes, it's
Very
a bright
it's
cloudy,
having
weather
a
over
dark
there.
cloud
I can
out there.
see. I can see bright weather over there.
weather. It's nice that your house is so close to KLCC, right?
She
I
always
can be
had the
by the
best
beach the
view.
next moment.
Oh, come on, Vyasa, don't show off. It's very hard. I just have a blank wall at the back of me. So, anyway, guys, why we are here today is to talk about keeping business afloat. So, we are at times where things are really hard for a lot of businesses, a lot of employees losing their jobs. And today, we want to talk to three personalities. We, of course, have Vyasa here. We are still waiting for Khushboo and Udesh Chaskar that will join us shortly. So, we're going to talk about how to keep businesses afloat during this time. And we brought these brilliant minds in to discuss on the issues that matter. Hi, Mr. Chan. Chan Xiao Hong has just joined us in the chat. Maybe you guys can say hi.
Hey, I know this guy, Chan.
You do.
He's my good friend.
Ah, that's great. That's great. We have fans. Obviously, right?
Yes.
It's Vyasa. What do you expect? So
Hello.
in the Me series today, we want to kind of tackle this issue because we feel it's something that a lot of businesses are grappling with. Whether you're a very micro business, you're selling out of your home, or whether you're an SME, or even the bigger businesses, these are some things that they're struggling with. So maybe we can start off with a bit of an introduction from Xiao San and Vyasa. So, just to let you all know, Xiao San is the co-host of the Me series. She joins us every week, every other
Yes.
week.
So
Okay,
I
for the
think so.
last
I
week.
think it's a bit interesting for you to ask me to introduce myself again because I think I've been introducing myself almost alternative weeks. They'll be like
True,
so
true.
sick and tired of seeing me actually. But
But
hello
we,
everyone. Thanks
we
for
don't
getting
have
me
the
here.
same audience, right?
So yes, I'm here today again just to join in the party that we have today. I think today we're really going to get some really interesting insights. I can't wait
Yes.
to hear from our great panels that we have today. So yeah, thanks for having me here again to break your party today. Hi Khushboo, I know you just came in. Hey.
We'll give you some time to settle down, and we will make Vyasa the spotlight. I mean, he is anyway. So.
I
Vyasa,
got a
maybe you
spotlight
can.
here.
I mean, I don't want to go into this topic because there's nothing to do with that. But I have to tell you, Vyasa, I don't know if you heard, but bald men are sexy. I don't know if you guys girls would agree with me, but
Oh,
this is the
Oh,
common knowledge.
I didn't I
um,
didn't know
I get
okay.
that a
about
lot.
Okay. Okay, I have to say this lah. According to my understanding lah. Okay, I hope there's nothing weird people is thinking about after this. But I do have this understanding that if a person shave their head bald and looks good, right, that means they can really pull off any look. That means they are really good looking by nature already. So
okay,
that
we
is
are
my concept lah.
know
That's my
that
understanding
those
Give you a
today.
girls'
lift
eyes
there.
are on your shining.
Okay.
You see, Udesh, this is your fault. I have to say it's your fault. We've gone live, and I had to talk about Vyasa's bald head because we were stalling for time.
Oh,
So
I actually
no.
gave a chance, okay? I actually gave a chance so the icebreaker, wouldn't be so odd, in fact. So that's why.
so
Oh my
anyway,
god.
can we continue with maybe Vyasa was starting to tell us about himself?
Okay, great,
Okay.
please.
So currently, thanks, Cheryl and Xiao San, for having us today. My name is Prasa, and I currently run a training company I've been running this training company for the last close to 7 years now. What we do is we do a lot of trainings like Excel, Word, AutoCAD, Microsoft Project, a lot of technical trainings, which serves the construction industry, manufacturing, and also finance. We have been doing this. We do both in-house trainings and public trainings in our center in Bandar Puteri Puchong. All right. Prior to this, let me just share a little bit about my background. I'm actually from Kajang. And in the year 2001, I started out the first privately owned microchip company based in Cyberjaya. So it was Cyberjaya was just starting out, and at that time it was we have MDEC. MDEC was not MDEC at the time, right? It was some other name, a slightly longer name, and then it was reduced to MDEC, I think about 10 years ago or so, right? So at that time we were just starting. Cyberjaya was, just being built up. We were one of the first companies to be venture funded by MEFCAP at the time, right? So we had to see, I think because we came out fresh from university and we started this company, so it was close. We saw close to more than 200 over investors before we got our first round of investment. So we got kicked left and right. We went through the mill, basically from zero to something. So our first round of investment was about 3.5 million as a startup. And then we started office in Cyberjaya. And then eventually we had an office in UK and also Ireland. And then we were, most of the time, the marketing side and the management side, we were based in Silicon Valley. We are going back and forth because the action was there. The microchip action was actually there. Nobody knows where Malaysia is in terms of microchips. It was very new in Malaysia. Yeah. So then eventually we went on. We grew the company, and then it went down actually about 7 years later. There are many reasons for that. I'll share some of the reasons later on in the show. Okay. I don't want to tell the whole story, and then Khushboo will be waiting. Udesh will be waiting. Okay, so then after that, I also started out with a few friends, a rewards company. We did reward programs for a lot of multinationals in Malaysia, where it ties up to their sales. All right, and then eventually it was this training company, which we will share more later on in the show. Hi, Cheryl.
I think Cheryl got so shocked with the investment that you have put on and the business that you're moving. That's why she gone disappear for a while. But yeah, thank you so much, Vyasa, for sharing with us your really interesting background. Perhaps maybe we can have Khushboo to share a little bit and introduce yourself a bit about your current background right now. I think you need to on your mic.
I will. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you
No
so
problem.
much, guys, for having me, Cheryl and Zizi. And I'm so glad to meet Vyasa. I think Vyasa, we have not caught up for, only seen each other on the social platform, but I'm looking forward to meet Udesh, brother. It's always amazing to see you. We always bump into each other here and there. So I'm glad that we are catching up again in this live once again. But just to quickly tell about myself, I run agency here in Malaysia, which is Beyond 99, and that's my baby. Alongside, I have great passion towards storytelling, marketing, and to host certain events. I host two shows, which is Women of Impact and LinkedIn Corner Stories. Women of Impact is more about women who have shattered the glass ceilings, and LinkedIn Corner Stories is currently the edition that just went live, was more on covering Asian entrepreneurs who have really proved themselves doing great work in the space, in the different domains. So, just keeping the passion points here, I love to touch base on how businesses do what they do at the moment and learn from them, and at the same time run the agency that I have it. But the agency is more about where we help brands, individuals, and alongside we help budding entrepreneurs to leverage on online, but our focus solely is towards consultation beyond execution. So we make sure that we come up with the right strategies and we come up with the right rationales on who you should target, how you should target, when you should target, what should be the methodology or the content strategy, and also early level research and stuff. So we corely focus on that Following, of course, comes the execution, which we have got a full-fledged team to take care of. But definitely, we still want to harp on our strength, and that will be towards consultation and strategy the most. uh, I would love to get some. I mean, the people who are watching us, which I'm not too aware at the moment, but I would love to hear questions on marketing, storytelling, how to brand yourself, on personal branding, because that's something that has been my passion since COVID has come in to a great extent, because lot of transition has happened in the market. So I'm looking forward to discuss about that with all of you guys, and just passing the ball to Udesh. Let's see what he has to say. I would love to hear.
Thank you so much, Khushboo. I think Cheryl, your mic is you need to on your mic now.
Oops. Udesh, you want to give us a bit of an introduction? Thank you, Khushboo. It's so awesome to hear from you. You're one of the super movement that I love to follow on LinkedIn, and I'm learning so much from you. And we were so excited to have you on the Lighthouse earlier this year. And we tried to get you last year as well, but unfortunately we couldn't
I'm
due
so
to some
sorry.
technical
It is
issues.
my bad. My bad.
Yeah, but we're so glad.
I spammed in messages, and I didn't realize when that went by and stuff. So, but it was phenomenal as an experience. Not taking too much time, Udesh. It's your time. Just tell us about yourself.
Udesh, come.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, hi guys. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, yeah, Cheryl, Xiao-san, and of course for hosting this, and also Vyasa, and also Khushboo. Thank you for having me on the show as well. So a little, yeah, some sort of intro or background about myself. Malaysian born. Okay. Many people say that, are you really Malaysian? I say yes. I have a blue IC and red passport. Okay, not the opposite.
Udesh, don't go
Okay.
all the way back. We just want the current recent one. Just don't go all the way back, okay?
So the thing is, coming from the corporate background, I was literally a government servant. I'll be very honest with you. Started off as a government servant. Business was actually just at the side, but I did realize that I could do much more things with business. And the whole idea is that you could not really live up to your passion, which most entrepreneurs will always quote, but I would say that you get much more satisfied in spending your 24 hours a day. So that really made me wanted to shift. Yeah, so totally walked off from the government side, a 9 to 5, a pure 9 to 5, and then into entrepreneurship. And of course, perhaps all over the years there was ups and downs as usual for everyone. But just recently, of course, there wasn't a very up. There was a huge down, because why? Globally, everyone is affected with the so-called pandemic, or with the whole huge wave that we're having of the COVID virus and the coronavirus, sorry, which is also known as COVID-19. What has happened is that the whole world economics has totally changed. Not many do realize. Many still pretty much think that after the whole circuit breaker, movement control, lockdown, we are going to go back to the same old days. But let's be very honest. This has really disrupted not the business part, but the social economy part. So there's two things here that every entrepreneur definitely realizes, but sometimes we don't look deep into, because you see, this virus itself, this pandemic we have right now, has really given us a big knock. Okay, it's a huge knock, in fact, towards our social status. Okay, and it has really changed the whole paradigm. Where do you see yourself? Literally, Facebook and Instagram has been the only platform for us to actually connect and see people. Previously, it was pavilion, it was KLCC, it was going to the mall, going to the theaters, but right now going to the bars. Forgot about that. but right now you only see your friends over this. Why? Is because that this, like I said, the social economy has changed because of that. So people don't really understand how much of effect it had. But let me be very honest with you. Most of the, when you look towards the whole population, everyone is affected with this. And I totally don't believe that no entrepreneur out there, even a millionaire, is not affected. Because even governments, to the smallest person, is heavily affected to our day-to-day routine. Okay, so just wrapping up, what I would like to say is that with this thing came in, I think so it's a very much well topic to discuss. Because why? To be very honest to you, no one has ever lived a huge pandemic like this, number one. And number two, what I would like to also say is that no matter you have lived any pandemic, no one has lived through a pandemic in 2020 yet. There's more to come to it. There's more to come to it, and we are all clueless, of course. Google is not helping us either. So just to say that that's a little experience, but coming up from where we are doing and everything, I think so the mindset is pretty important. Because why? Many people right now, they prefer, I mean, this is of course the whole idea of sense of survival. When it comes to a pandemic, when it comes towards the whole idea, you're pressed and you're depressed, you look at yourself in the mirror without anyone else. But you don't realize that right now, with this pandemic, with this happening right now, you don't only need to just look at yourself, you really need to look at your loved one, which is on support as well. That is the main thing that is going to be the strongest support that I could say. Because why? We all suddenly realize, wow, my lawn is quite big. Wow, my cat was actually quite playful. Wow, my son can actually pronounce my name correctly.
I didn't know you have a
only
son,
doing-
Udesh.
Yes, I have a very furry son. but these are the things, these are the fine things that actually was the positive side, I would say, of the pandemic, that people started to realize what they could do. Because before that, the chain cycle of 9 to 5, Monday to Sunday, was just a whole life cycle, I would say, that people never realized. So yeah.
That's interesting. Very, very interesting. He's given us a bit of an overview of what's happening and what's on the ground. And I think me and Yi were listening to what Prof. Jomo, right? Jomo Kwame Sundram was talking yesterday. Very interesting. I think this pandemic has really exposed a lot of holes in our system. And we thought, hey, we are, all up there, and, tech is make us propel further. And there's a lot of issues we have, even from the basic thing like food security, right? So there's a lot of stuff we didn't really look into, and now it's kind of exposing a lot of things in the system. But before we go and discuss deeper into those areas, I would really like to know from the ground, because sometimes it's very difficult when you see people already kind of figuring it out for themselves. I want to know, going back a little, not back to the passport and IC level, but how did COVID-19 disrupt your business from the very beginning, right? When it first hit and you realized that it disrupted your business, right? How did it disrupt your business personally for each of you? Maybe Vyasa, you can start off by telling us how it disrupted your business.
Right. Okay. For us, because we are in the training business and we do a lot of physical trainings, right? We had classes right up to the day before the MCO, which I can remember right now. I think it should be until the 17th.
Yeah. Right.
So it was like we were, sort of like, so business was coming in, a lot of trainings were coming in. In fact, we had to invest in more furniture, like, chairs and for participants. We just about 1 week before, we just invested on some really good set of chairs and all to make, the participants feel really comfortable and all. And then suddenly, so I sort of expected there's some form of MCO was going to come. I didn't know the name and all the time, but I didn't expect it to be going on for 2 months plus right now. So what I thought is, okay, maybe this one will, hang around for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and then, back in business again.
Yeah, I think also it's because at that time they give the range, it's just within 2 weeks. So I think a lot of people has that kind of thought that it's just 2 weeks and then we'll go back, the kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly like within two. I mean, we just thought it's going to be that long. So of course, like, because we are heavily dependent on physical training, right? 100% actually, 100%. It was a sudden from like this, and then go down straight down 0 to 0. And then that's the whole disruption that we encountered. So how about you guys, Khushboo, Udesh?
Khushboo, you want to tell us?
No, Khushboo.
Udesh. Go ahead,
Perhaps
Udesh.
you want to go first?
Go ahead. No worries. I'll follow you. Go ahead.
Okay, so the thing is, I actually kind of realized I was still traveling. We were doing actually AJ Welp with ASEAN, Japan Women Entrepreneurs, the training. I remember that time I was just about to go to Brunei. So it was a pandemic level already, and everyone was still how to say it, pretty much questionable. The government was telling not to travel. In fact, government was telling not to travel, but these by ASEAN, so this by ASEAN Council, by the Women Entrepreneurs Council, funded by Japan, had already confirmed that time that we needed to go there. So I asked the organizers in Japan, okay, and I said, is it still going to go on? Or are you guys going to postpone because the pandemic is bad, you know? And they said that no, everything is confirmed. The hotels are booked, flights are booked, and everything because each and every representative is flying in from ASEAN. Okay, so what happened in fact when I traveled over there, of course it was very much scary, to be very honest with you. Not many people were wearing masks and everything, but of course the checks were going on and everything. So it was just before each and every country had mentioned an official lockdown, because before that only certain states and districts, they were very much keen. So I almost got stranded because the first trip I was actually in Nepal. Nepal was the best of all. Even though the pandemic was going on, there were people all around, in even India. In Nepal, you can't even find a single guy wearing mask. I'm not kidding you, not even a single guy
Because I
wearing
think
mask.
Nepal has yet to hit at that time. Because at the beginning stage, I don't think it has hit at that time yet, right?
You're
Yeah.
right,
No,
right? Because
no, no.
India
There were
and
already cases.
Nepal, but Buddhist for
No,
me,
in
India and Nepal and all these countries were hit later to
Yeah.
Malaysia. They
Yeah.
face it earlier than us.
No, I
No,
don't
but
think
but you
so.
have to know, Nepal had already cases because in Nepal the cases were coming from China. The amount of tourists going into Nepal was huge. So when I
Oh.
was literally going there as well, I remember I was flying with another partner from Singapore that time. The two of us were literally wearing masks, and then in the airplane. And then when we landed there, when we went to the market, there's a few markets and everything, we just realized that, wow, it seems that no one cares about anything. There's not even talking about mask. Everyone is just, don't talk about social distancing. It was all about social, perhaps oxygen survival. Everyone's just free like that. And we were like, this is very interesting. But never mind. So we finished a few days there. Then I was in Brunei. Then I came back. I wanted to travel to India after that, in fact, for a meeting over there. But then I did realize that, thank God. So I even mentioned to my dad as well, we were supposed to go. I said, thank God we didn't go to India. You know why? Because I guess now the whole world knows how many thousand was stranded in India and they couldn't come back to Malaysia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty bad. But I think so. I would literally say that ASEAN is very close knit with a lot of actually social diversity and languages. So the only main reason is sometimes getting the message or getting the notice out was quite delayed, I would say. Hence, and
Very
of course,
interesting.
looking
But
towards how it affected my business is
business.
that
Yeah.
so WSF is literally a venture builder that helps businesses to grow and everything. And looking
Yeah.
towards how this pandemic came in, I'll be very honest with you. It's very, very sad, devastating, in fact, to see a lot of not only startups but SMEs as well just stop and close operations.
Mhm.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I'm talking about immediate effect. Like within a week, they have to just start telling. They're not even retrenching because they don't have the capacity. They just said, "So sorry, we have to let you go." So it's very, very sad. And I always tell people that stay strong. And I even came up with a model how these companies, even SMEs, could actually move on, because it's not going to be easy, at least for the next few months, to actually go by as well. So looking towards WSF in this region, what the only way we are trying to do is we are trying to see whichever funds that we can get through WSF Ventures to be able to help anyone along the way, actually, who really needs it, of course. Yeah.
Thanks, Udesh. So
Welcome.
just to kind of understand how you guys felt at that moment, right? Just can you all give me just one word to kind of figure out what was your emotion at that point of time? What is one word to describe that when it hit and you realized, oh my God, my business is going to be affected drastically?
Um,
Um,
Yeah, go ahead, Udesh.
Sorry, tough question.
Maybe we can have Khushboo to share first.
No,
Come
I
on,
think
so
Khushboo
human
got
power.
one. Let the lady go first.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guys are done now. I'm happy to actually let the guys speak before me, because whenever I'm at an event, it's like ladies first. So I enjoyed this
Good
thoroughly,
excuse.
honestly. I think, Cheryl, to be honest, when when this announcement happened, the my side was more about being contented. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but that was my feeling, because the government wasn't doing anything till then, and I was very satisfied with the fact that yes, the close down has been announced, because I had stopped going to office like 4 days before the announcement came in, because KL Central, there was already some
Cases,
khazana
yeah.
stuff and thing was
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had personally stopped going office, and then when on the, I think, 16th of March, when the announcement happened for 18th being the lockdown, I was more than happy and contented about it, that the government has taken this step towards something which is further more important than any business that we are running at this point of time. And since my business model is heavily on digital, um, we didn't know that it would take, of course, 60 days, so there has been impact, but we knew very well that in 2 weeks time there was not any, we didn't expect any impact on the business in those 2 weeks time. So I was not worried as a business owner at all at that point of time, because my only happiness at that state was, yes, the lockdown has been announced, we are going to break the chain, and that what matters the most. Because our if you guys, I mean, just to share with everyone out here, we are location independent company, and when I say that, I actually at this point in time have my team members spread across 8 cities in India and Malaysia. So since my team members have already scattered, like some works from home, some works from cafe, some works from co-working space like Foundate, WSF and all that, they work from there. And we had already, our internal processes were well structured to work in remote space. So we didn't have to implement any new strategy. Instead, we were so pro in it that I actually helped some of my peers in the space, that what you can do and what tools you can use to just set up the entire system. But on the other side, when you're talking about the client, now in the first 2 weeks, nothing really happened. It was like the client said, let the pandemic get over and we'll come back. But we didn't know that the comeback is in 60 days. I mean, that took us on the business side, definitely, because we had submitted some of the very huge campaigns, because Raya was coming in. We knew that was the festive time when we had the big tactical campaigns happening. So we had companies from London who were taping into Malaysia market. We had companies, one of the largest oil companies in Malaysia, we were working with them for the campaigns, and budgets and everything was approved. And suddenly this happened. And it's been 60 days, we don't get approval from clients. So that is, so because it's fair, because it's not going to work for them at this point of time. There's no car that's getting driven at the moment. Only until 9th June we'll actually see full-fledged. So yes, the impact was seen, but long beyond that time. At that time, I was so contented that I was really with the mindset of what should we do different at this point of time. That was my only thing.
So content was the word that Khushboo used, right? Very positive way of looking at things. But I guess from the case of Khushboo, like she said, already had things in place, right? So I think some companies had already kind of invested in these technologies and had moved some of their stuff online. Same was for Inti as well. We had a lot of things already online, so it wasn't as bad, but of course the shock is also still there, right? And as you mentioned, sometimes it's not just from the business point of view, it's from the client's point of view, not just the owner, right? How the clients are groping with it. And I think a lot of clients, even now, there's still a lot of them who are saying, let's just wait, just another 2 more weeks after Raya, it'll be fine. And a lot of people are not jumping to do anything about it.
You won't believe, Cheryl, we actually got an email, and it was a big project, really big project, and there were 8 companies which were pitching for it. We were shortlisted. The client has dropped us a beautiful email saying that we were so happy with these 3 things and this extra effort and blah 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 and all detail. But sorry, we have not much to do. But this pandemic has stopped us and kept our budgets on hold. We are going to come back to you, but this is something which is at pause at this current time. I mean, I can't believe that we were so close to winning it, and it just happened. It just happened. So yeah, there has been business impact for us, even though we are we're digital company, we're helping in marketing, but still audiences are very skeptic in picking up ad marketing budgets at the moment, because they're like, I have to keep floating first, then I'll think about marketing. But that strategy is absolutely wrong. That mindset is wrong. I really want to share it with everyone. Unless you are in flight business, hotel business, or let's say you are in a business model which is a venue business, then you can stop your marketing budget. But if you are in a business model which is B2C or B2B, which is not in these categories, please don't stop your marketing budgets. Not because I come from that space, it's because this is what will help you get back to normal faster than your competitors and anybody else, because you will not lose the brand salience which you can achieve at this point of time by having emotional marketing done through it. And then automatically, as the time is right, because people have money, the money is there in the economy, it is not gone anywhere, it's just not floating, it's just not getting exchanged. It's just not getting exchanged. So just don't be afraid. As soon as the exchange starts, you will see the spike going like this. Means, as Vyasa very nicely said, it went up from him like this and then it was like this. I'm telling you, Vyasa, there's no time you will see things going like this. Immediately, as fast as it came down, it will go up.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And I think this discussion is not just for business owners. It's also for those clients, right, who are kind of struggling as well and deciding, should I hold on? Should I keep it all? Or should I wait? I think a lot of us have this mindset that we just keep everything, and when it's time, then we will just use everything, as it goes, which is not the best idea, of course. But that's why we have three of you to kind of give us a bit of direction or path in terms of what to do. So let's go to Vyasa. Vyasa, one word, emotions to kind of. So Khushboo said content. What would be your word?
Contented, sorry.
Contented, yeah. What would be your word?
Okay, for me, I think it was it's eventuality lah. So the eventuality, it happened. I mean, we are all actually, I think subconsciously we were already aware. A lot of things were already going on, and a lot of news and countries and all that. So I just expected that this is going to happen, and then it's just that when it happened, we sort of, okay, no, we are going to take off for some time, but I just didn't know how long. So my anticipation was, it was at that point of time, just about I think a few days before, I thought it's going to be within, although they announced at 2 weeks, I thought it was going to be 3 to 4 weeks. But today we are already about 2.5 months down the road. Okay, so if you ask me just one word, it is eventuality. It was going to happen, and then it just happened. Yeah, so maybe Udesh, you can share what was your point?
Udesh, are you thinking very hard to sum it up in one word, or you have too many words?
No. So the one word is that I did share, I think so, with Khushboo before this, way during the conference as well. It was expected. Perhaps why I would say this is because we do communicate a lot with the US. The US did realize that there was literally something coming up, but we were warned. The Asia office of literally WSF and everything, we were warned, but we were shocked that it was going to be this bad. I'll be very honest with you. We were shocked it was going to be this bad. So bad as nothing is really moving. I'll be very honest with you. For example, you see right now, we are just, like I would say, we are just like 3 days away before Eid, 3 days before Eid, and you don't feel anything. It has taken away even that effect. Don't talk about economy anymore. It has taken out your rights to actually even go out and see your family members. If you look at how hard it has hit, like what I said, economy is always the second thing that actually grows on the social well-being of the community. If the community is not growing socially well, the economy will definitely be impacted. And we of course, even myself, I was really shocked that it's going to happen this bad, whereby we did we are seeing, of course, whereby that it is the whole world is locked down. It's not some countries, it's not some communities, but the whole world is locked down. And when I literally, because I do follow of course stocks and trading, of course, sometimes I have to be very honest with that. And of course, many people did tell, but I would heavily object this. Just get online. The next life is going to be online, going digital and everything. I guess Bitcoin was there to prove everyone wrong. Crypto, the way it plunged was, it's crazy. If you follow up the graphs right now, you're talking about the whole digital life. It's supposed to be actually just growing like nobody's business. But the way it plunged, it was even seemed like how petrol, just plunged as well below the negative line. So then
Yeah.
looking towards this, looking towards this whole economy that we are in today, when you look towards capitalist economy where we all are, we really do realize one single thing. Because of the open door trading system with every other country, which literally we are all so-called in the, I'll put my inverted commas, gig economy, no man is definitely able to get out of this alone. The whole world is literally currently at this hit, and it's going to be there for some time. Okay. And if you are thinking that you're going to be putting everything online, and that's why China, in fact, is heavily pushing 5G, because literally they have the hardware, not the software, but the hardware for it. Okay. These guys have literally trying to dominate what the whole world is going to be living on. And that's why today, I think so, we have more than 100 online applications and softwares all bundled up just to connect people digitally. But to sum up literally what is this going to and how I feel personally, okay, everyone they definitely can say their own personal opinions. I'm going to say that it is something really tragic, not only for the older generation, not only for the younger generation, but for literally everyone, including the future generations. Why? Is because that we are already in June. I mean, June is just knocking on the door, right? No one has really been able to come up to the point and say that, hey, I've achieved this by the first half of the year. That's, I think so, a pretty huge statement that is going to hit everyone the moment we see ourselves in the third quarter and wow, this MCO is still going on. The CMCO over here or the virtual breaker is going to go on every country. So traveling, don't just talk about traveling, business, our lives are definitely going to be changed. Because I was just finding out from the Indian government, if I'm going to travel there for a meeting, I'm still going to go through a 14 days quarantine.
Yes, you're required
like,
to.
yeah, I mean, like, wow, this is crazy. For a meeting of 2 days, I need to spend 14 days like quarantine myself, and I'm like, okay, so
You're going to
16
quarantine
days.
yourself 14 days there. Then when you come back, you're going to quarantine yourself another 14 days again.
Yeah.
So basically, 1 month you'll be quarantined. Basically,
So
yeah.
I'll tell you, it's not only about being quarantined, but the worst part there is where you are quarantined. You're not quarantined at your home. You're actually at
At a foreign place, exactly.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something you're not familiar with.
And I got to see some pictures of those places. Trust me, you don't want to be there.
It's crazy.
Oh
So to
no,
me,
I should ask you the speeches and find out.
So guys, let's move on to let's shift it a little. So we have the word eventuality, we have contented, and we have tragic, right?
Tragic.
So let's move and let's shift it a little to, because I think yes, this is a situation we're in, and I think our China students, okay, Xiaosan and I, we have a lot of China students who were here from the very beginning. That means they were quarantined in China. They were quarantined when they came back, and then they joined our quarantine. So they've been quarantined half the year, right?
Yes.
So I think they are the ones who have suffered the most.
I really pity them, actually. I really do. Yeah.
But you see,
Quarantine
moving
parties.
away from the situation of yes, this has happened to us, and this is some of the issues that have occurred. What have the three of you done? Yeah, what are two main things you did that you changed basically to keep your business afloat? in the very beginning? What are the two main things that you had to change? Anyone can start off.
Okay, I
Khushbu?
don't mind going first. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Cool.
Yeah.
I think the two things we did was, first and the foremost thing we did was a mindset overhaul, which really was important. Uh, See, how do we look at clients? Are, of course, is how close are we to close them, and how far are we to close them? If from the business perspective, what can keep us floating is what business is coming in. But at this point of time, we can never look at them in this manner, because we, as soon as we understand what mindset our clients are going through, they, even if it's the lowest hanging fruit, it's not possible to catch it at this point of time. And if you get that right mindset, that go away with that low hanging fruit and go back to the top of the funnel, as to what we say, the mass audience. And the second thing that we stepped into, as soon as we changed our mindset, that even if we are this close to closing, we cannot focus on that. Stop focusing on short term goals and focus on long term. And with the long term, I mean to say, with my second point, is go with branding, content curation, connecting with the community, bonding, building a network, generating a kind of a space for yourself in the network where you are in, or where you want to be in. I mean, that's something that can actually make a huge difference. So the two things that we did was, we first changed our mindset internally, between the team members and between the leadership team, to make sure that we can adapt correctly on a very positive note to whatever change come our way. And that's one very big reason why we have never felt in the last 60 days would touch to this. Even though the business has been gone like this, like this, like this, we have kept our I would say we've kept ourselves high every single moment, because that made a huge difference whether we are making right decisions or not. Otherwise, as soon as we lose our sanity, the decisions go haywire. And the second is, we went for a long term game rather than for a short term, because we're not going to win it. And we focused on content, we focused on network and bonding beyond anything and everything.
That's a very good point, huh? We're talking about mindset, because that's very true, right? If you are not able to focus or think clearly, how are you going to make good decisions for your business? How are you going to decide what's the next course of action? And you talked about long-term gain. A lot of businesses want to see returns immediately, and in the situation that we're in, we can't do that, right? So we must have focus on what we can do. And if you see a lot of talks or discussions online today, a lot of people are talking about resilience, right? It's very important, actually, because it kind of puts your mind in the right space, so that you can actually make decisions that, for example, like Udesh was saying, not just jump onto the bandwagon of online just blindly, right? So you are still thinking straight. So thank you so much, Khushboo. That's very, very interesting points. So Vyasa, Udesh, you guys want to jump in and continue on with the discussion on the two main changes that you guys made for your business to keep afloat?
Well, I'll
Yeah,
go.
Vyasa, you can go first.
Yeah, thanks, Udesh. So I think
Yeah.
for us, the first thing is like for the 2 weeks before the MCO, we sort of heard rumors and things that there might be a shutdown. I think these rumors are real, and they were going around. I think we cannot deny that these rumors were going around. So prior to March 18th, I think that's exactly the day where the MCO started. There were already like words going around. There's going to be things like lockdown, or there's going to be issues like where we have to stay at home. It was actually the worst thing that could have happened at that time. But there were rumors flying around, and then it's up to us to decide whether that news was going to be. Are we going to be prepared for the news or not? Okay. If that happens, the MCO happens, for sure businesses will slow down. So we also had to come first, like what we heard just now, right, from Khushboo, about the mental mindset. That's the first thing that we had to adapt to first. So the first thing is, always in situations like this, when there's a crisis or there's suddenly a big bad situation, the first thing that we have to come to is the word accept. accepting the fact. Okay, that's the biggest thing that we need to get through, because we have to go through the rejection phase. No, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. We have the blame phase. Why is it happening? Why are we not doing anything? What's the
Whose
government
fault
not
is
doing
it?
anything?
Pointing on fingers to each other. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's the first thing. I mean, this is real in any form of crisis,
yeah,
lah. In
yeah.
family or in government or in overall businesses. This thing everybody has to go through. They have the blame phase, then they have the anger phase, and then they have the grief phase where you get upset over things, and then you accept, and then you start moving up and taking and doing something. So we had to get to that phase really fast. The fact, I think one of the things that helped us to get to that phase fast was I had gone through previous failures before in my past businesses, and we went through sometimes long grieving phase, long blaming phase, long angry phase, and all that. So then we realized, after some time, we just got to get through that phase fast and then start picking up things again, start thinking and then picking up phase. So that's the first thing, which is actually getting to the right frame of mind before we take action again. And there's no point panicking and taking action. That's the last thing we should do. Okay. When we are sort of like, can you imagine swimming, right? When we are swimming, uh, when we first start to learn how to swim, we are panicking, and then we are struggling everywhere, and we're not going anywhere, and water is going in through your nose and your mouth and your ears and all, and then we're not moving and we're just sinking, right? So that is a normal thing, that sometimes if we panic really fast and then we start acting upon that, that's what happens. What we need to do is quickly come to a point in our mind. Okay, this is what's really happening. Accept it. Be angry or be upset for a while, and then fully come to the accepting phase, and then start planning calmly. Because if we are not playing calmly, there are a lot of gurus around. This guru, A guru, B guru, C guru, D guru, and they're all shouting different things. It might not be right for business at that time, because depending on our resources, depending on the money we have, depending on the staff we have, or depending on what business we are in, it might not be suitable. So we need to think clearly, and only we can do it by coming to a calm point. So the first thing is coming to the right uh, frame of mind, and then the second thing is start planning. Every business is going to be different. A business is going to be different. Maybe they have to go online. B business maybe online. I don't know. But the fact is, online there is a big shift towards online right now. But you need to know what to do online for the different kind of business we are in. So for me, the first thing is, like I said, the first thing is frame of mind. Come to the right frame of mind, and I think we got to accept the fact that there is the anger phase, there is the shock phase, there is the blame phase, there is the upset phase. And if you don't accept that and say, no, yeah, we got to be positive, we are not acting true to what we need to do. And we might just go on a super big wrong tangent. That's what I've seen a lot of businesses doing also. They just taking up, panicking. Okay, the next guru said, okay, do this, you will do very well, and everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and then you realize, hey, this is not the right thing to do.
Yeah,
So
that's so true.
yeah, so that's the thing. I think first thing, we got to calm down, take a chill for a little while, understand. Don't just be paralyzed though. Think about things, and also feel the emotions. I think emotions are also very important. Feel it, accept it, and then you start thinking, planning on the next stage. Every business will have a different plan. Uh, Take some action. Don't stay in the paralyzed zone. So that's my 2 points of view.
I think that's an amazing point, right? When you talk about basically what you said is one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
And we all feel there is one size that fits all now, right? So we just plug in online and everything goes back to normal. And I think a lot of
The
people,
thing is, I agree as well, because
yeah,
not all businesses can work online basis, and I think that just because everyone is going in online digital right now, that you just want to jump into the bandwagon without properly thinking about it, that could actually be a bit risky. to say. Yeah.
Indeed, I think I really want to especially mention, that's a great point, Vyasa, you brought in, where what's happening is that the A guru, B guru, C guru, and that stuff. I think very well pointed out, because it's kind of disrupting the real business thing. It's just like people running towards some quick money, or I don't know what's that entire goal behind it. But to be very candid about it, it has somehow killed the real essence of what it actually takes to run a business. If you are in a business and if you are into real time, it doesn't happen. You don't make 30,000 in 3 days, or you don't do those things unless you've hustled hard. I mean, if Vyasa, you sold your company at an X price or stuff like that, it only happens, or you were able to get those investors, is because you've spent years working hard on it. Even with Udesh, he's spending so much of time with the startup community. It didn't happen for them. I mean, because of these gurus, somehow the passion between the young entrepreneurs, to say the teenagers and the early 20s, they get into this fast money stuff. And I really wanted to highlight it, because Cheryl and Sini, you come from college. I mean, you come from uni, and you really are in touch with so many students out there. It actually impacts their mindset and takes them away from the real hustle that is required to run any business.
Yeah.
True. I mean,
I think that's a good point.
we can truly say that, a lot of fresh grads, by the time when they come out, they have this mindset that, I want to start my own business. I think, I want to be my own boss. It's something that they are striving for, but they have not really thoroughly fully digest and immerse about what are the sacrifices you need to make in order to actually go into business. Yeah, that's something that they need to have a reality check to it.
My health took a toll because of the work and all. I mean, it can be a very impactful journey to start your own, to do your own, or to get into the real hustle of where you are going through a lot. Too busy is also very bad. So indeed, it's a journey, and I'm glad Vyasa mentioned that point, even though it's an out of context thing, but I really wanted to highlight it.
Yes, true.
And I think another good point that Vyasa mentioned when he talked about frame of mind, right? I think it's important to understand that we all go through, we have, if you look at it academically as well, right? You have the 5 stages of grief that Vyasa talked about. And we all kind of go through that, whether it's death, whether it's losing someone close to you, a friendship, or even a business, right? Your business is like your baby, right? It's like your child. So sometimes when you go through those failures, it can actually put you through those stages. And like he said, we don't have so much of time to sit in that grief stage for so long. So we have to kind of like jumpstart it very quickly to go through those stages. But the most important thing I think Vyasa mentioned was that feeling and accepting it, because most of the people out there are telling you just be positive, but there's no that journey where you have time to actually feel those emotions. And that's why I thought it was an important point to ask you guys today, what did y'all feel? Because I want people to see that you didn't just get up one day and like, hey, you had a quick fix and it was done and it's all good. Because some people watching Khushboo show and Vyasa, and you look at Udesh's face, he looks like everything is still hunky-dory, and people just assume everything is good. Yeah, but I want them to understand that whole iceberg, right? Like something is going on below, and there's things that y'all put into place to understand what was going on, right? So if we can kind of get that would be great. So moving on to Udesh. What about you, Udesh? What was the 2 main changes for you to keep your business afloat? Because as long as we've known you, you're always traveling, right? You're traveling to Vietnam, you're traveling to India, you're traveling all around the world. And a lot of your work requires you to go. I mean, after all, the company's name is World Startup Festival, right? And now the world is probably confined to your, at the moment, office, but before this, it was your house. So what did you do, right? To change that, to keep your business afloat? Can you hear us, Udesh?
I can hear, but the audio is not too
happening.
Okay. Okay. So, So, as of to me, what I was mentioning just now, what Khushboo and just I said, definitely on point. But as for myself, looking towards what has not only happened, but what I do, I usually have a small model that I tell each and everyone before they go into the whole business line. Number one is that when you do a SWOT analysis, I know the whole world, the 7 billion people, perhaps now 8 billion, knows what is a SWOT analysis. Okay, but I always ask them to do two charts: one SWOT analysis on you yourself, and one SWOT analysis on your business. You have to remember your business is your business. You yourself is you yourself. The problem that I've been usually seeing, looking towards entrepreneurs and being advising them and everything, I kind of realized that they always have a beautiful SWOT analysis of either they themselves, and they think that it's the same for the business. And whereas certain of them, when they go to these gurus, like what Vyasa said, there's a lot of gurus out there these days. Trust me, the moment the pandemic happened, there was one video, I'm not sure who did it, but it was so damn funny because why? Suddenly everyone became a digital expert. Suddenly everyone came up like, a guru in social media marketing. Suddenly everyone was like, hey, I can teach you how to do videos. Suddenly everyone was like, hey, I can give you free courses. I'm like, what's happening? To be honest, to me, I was startled. I was like, wow, there's so many gurus, man. Makes me feel that I'm nobody. I should join all these courses, But seeing honestly, to be very, very truthful, right? Times are really bad, and I think so. Going to basics is always what I would tell people is that the safest point to do. Don't just jump on any bandwagon and looking towards what you guys can just move on, but see in fact how to say, what is your ultimate strength as you yourself before your business, and secondly, when you're looking towards the business, look towards what is literally your business SWOT and how do you fit yourself over there. Because what I've literally seen and what I've done, in fact, for my business is that I always literally kept two SWOT analysis. One is literally within myself, what is my main SWOT, okay? And another one, what is the strength and what's the weaknesses of my business and how does it move on? And each and every partner that comes in, every stakeholder, even every investor that comes in, I will do personally a SWOT for the person. That which area are you going to look into and which area you should not look into. I always do this. And I always use this model, and I think so. I would want to think so. This model has been, it has been helping a lot of people out there. Because why? Sometimes as entrepreneurs, just jumping onto the bandwagon, I want to be an entrepreneur and make millions, which is the very usual case in Asia, I would say. I don't have a concept. I just have an idea, and I want everyone to fund me. But I'm not going to fund myself. But I'm going to have all the fun, FUN. Okay, so coming with this kind of misconception, no, it's very usual. I'll be very honest with you. It's very, 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 very usual. And sometimes we have to take pretty rough decisions to tell them that, hey, no, go and work on something first and then come on, And if literally you are telling that you really don't have cash, then I expect you literally not to be hanging around in track every night and, having parties, and throwing parties and then coming the next day and telling, hey, I have no cash to put into my business. But that is the reality that we live in. I'll be very honest. I've told a lot of entrepreneurs and even stakeholders out there. So I said, the whole idea when you go into entrepreneurship, the whole idea is what is the goal which is driving you? Because that goal is not going to shift according to what the pandemic is shifting. Okay. But the ways to achieve the goal, it will shift. So then going back to your strengths and weaknesses, how you're going to achieve the goal, you work with other businesses alongside that is going to partner up with you. Because I always tell people, this is the best time you are going to be doing the most creative mergers and acquisition. This is the best time you're going to see how you're going to cut on your capex and perhaps reduce your opex and see what is the thing that has been giving a deep, big hole in your pocket that you never realized. This is the time you are going to be looking not only just about going online, but what is the strategy of you going online? Is it to get more customers? Is it to get more visibility? Or is it really just to be out there for the fun and sake of it? Because to me, being online is important. Yes, I dearly, dearly support that. It is important. But is it dearly important for you yourself, or is it important for the business? I would like to always tell every entrepreneur it's huge. It's way different. Are you the face of the business, or is the business your face? Some people have got so confused with this kind of terms. They said, oh no, my social page is my social media page and my business has my own business social media page. But what I often say to them is that if you guys just perhaps walk along that path, then literally every entrepreneur is going to be, a superhero. But it's not the case, because why? You guys are just killing one another. So I always tell them that perhaps the best thing you could do is look towards partnering with another small business or with another person out there that literally supports, is the strength to your weakness, number one. And next, also look how you can complement any other company, even either it's a MNC or even SME out there. It doesn't really matter, because this pandemic, I mean, if you see even those large, these large multinational companies, they have come to a standpoint. Even they have come to a standpoint because they can't predict the future. So I think so. It's a pretty much very interesting period that we all are in, and the only thing is to be able to support one another over here is just by being yourself. Stop faking around, and stop going around trying to support others. If you can't really help yourself and your community, I guess you are going to even cause a even bigger impact, which is damage out there to the others. So I always say that. Yeah.
That's a fantastic point, actually. I agree with you. There's certainly a lot of people who are now digital gurus coming out there, and one thing that makes me laugh sometimes is that suddenly there are people who never used to give anything for free that is giving things for free. I mean, I salute them that they're wanting to give out, providing is genuine, of course. Uh, but there are sometimes things we need to think about, like you said, right? What's your strategy, and why are you out there? Why are you giving certain things? It just for the sake of giving because everyone is doing it? It's like all these live shows you see, including ours, of course. You see a lot of live shows, right? So why
Hey, don't
that?
don't drag us down to this,
Why,
okay?
why, why,
Okay, Stelson,
why are
we've given everything for free from the beginning, so there's no doubt there. I think Udesh will not agree with our business, our
Yeah,
non-existent business
yeah,
model.
yeah.
But yeah, we are not a business, right? We are educators, and that's our goal, right? To educate others. And this is a topic that we're very passionate about, but we don't know much about. And that's why we brought these three amazing individuals to discuss it, right? We are not business people. Neither of us are. If not, we'll be completely loaded. No.
But
So
I have this random question. Is it okay? Because since when Udesh was
yeah,
talking about, having a user, a social media person who have a presence of their own personal page, and then they have their own business page,
personal
and
brand.
okay, this personal is personal, business is business. What are your thoughts about? Because I've actually, spoken to some people who actually do their own startup and stuff like that, and they have this kind of mindset. They say, oh, but I'm not, what face ready for branding myself in my business. I said, but you are the best person to brand, isn't it? Because you understand your own business. If you're not the face of your own brand, who else are you going to get in to brand your own face? But there are still people who believe that I come up with the business, but I don't want to show my face that I'm the owner of the business, which I find it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit scratching, my head kind of thing, per se. What are the experts' thoughts about this,
I think I this is a fantastic question. I know, and I love these random questions that come.
Yeah.
Is it okay I go guys first, or you wanna?
Go ahead.
Please, please, please.
Go
Okay,
ahead,
I'll
please.
tell you something. I've personally been in an agency. I mean, I run an agency, right? And what does an agency do? It actually helps the brand to get upliftment, right? It helps the brand to grow. And I've been in this marketing space for such a long time, and I felt a huge gap. Personally, I started creating content on LinkedIn and stuff, and then there was some traction that started coming in. People started inviting, and then the whole introduction of personal branding came to me. I was not into this space, and I can be very candid about it. I was not into this space unless this space was introduced to me with my own self, with my own experiences. And
Yeah.
that's when I identified a deep gap in the current business that is there. And that's where my motivation of LinkedIn Prana started.
Yeah.
LinkedIn Prana stories is a part of LinkedIn Prana, which is the umbrella that's there. And I noticed that people are so skeptic to come forward and talk about their own business. And
Yes.
if they can't talk about their business as exactly you mentioned, who else is going to talk about it? I mean,
Exactly.
you're ready to be an influencer and get the conviction for your business, but you yourself is not having that conviction to come forward and talk about it. Seem
Why
the
should I
most
believe you, right?
exactly. It's just, and I would really, my heart goes out for majorly for the SMBs and SMEs, the startups, more than the enterprises and the large organization which already has a name for themselves. They don't need this
Yeah.
at the moment. But still, tell me something. I'll ask you a question. Do you know Warren Buffett?
Yes.
Okay, how many of you know his company?
Okay, now you're testing me.
Berkshire.
Back of my mind somewhere.
He
I
owns
know the personal brand better,
He's
of
got a
course.
few, right? He's got a big
Yeah.
he's got a
Got an
few big
empire.
companies,
He's
right?
Berkshire company is his main holding company.
It's, yeah, it's
Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway. It's Berkshire Hathaway, and we don't know that. I mean, I'm telling you, we are not into the space where there's a huge people know Richard Branson, they don't know
Yes.
Virgin.
Virgin, yes.
So
Yes.
I'm saying when the big guys like them who has whole lot of budget for advertising are still focusing on personal branding, people who are SMEs and SMB owners and startup owners, how can they miss out on such a fantastic marketing model for themselves and their business out there with the least advertising budget to be put across if they start speaking up for their business? And I think for the first time ever on a public platform, I'm actually bringing up the idea that for LinkedIn Pronner, it's about humanizing brands.
Yeah.
That is
It's a
what
good
LinkedIn
point.
Pronner is all about.
Yeah.
Start
It's like Steve Jobs with Apple. It's like,
Absolutely.
Jack Ma with Alibaba. It's like
Yeah.
these people has a name, and then their company, So
Correct.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And they get whole lot of credibility to the business in the stock market as well. I'm talking in terms of commercials. I'm not talking in terms of intangible metrics over there. I'm really talking in terms of the money here. So if people are missing out on the simplest form of marketing, and I've seen it is indeed happening. I have seen people who are running phenomenal businesses have dropped down at this point of time, and they're so skeptic to come forward. Even on LinkedIn as a platform, they're like silent spectators. I like to watch and observe, but not to comment and like. I'm like, okay. So we are heavily with LinkedIn Pronner team. We are heavily working on this mindset overhaul at this point of time. I would love you guys also to comment on it. That how exactly the Series A, Series B, Series C funded startup companies can come forward and have their leadership team branded on LinkedIn.
That's a good point. Very good point. I was just talking to one of the managers, one of the tech companies, and she was saying, she wants to build her LinkedIn page. And I was saying, personal brand is so important, and you need to get your main management team on board as well. And you can't just have someone write for them; then it's not genuine, right? And when a person believes, sometimes I believe in you. That's why I buy your products. I believe in you. That's why I'm even bothered to look further at your company. If I don't trust you as a human being, as a person, I won't even bother to look at your products, especially nowadays where there's so much of services, products, offerings everywhere. You and another 15 or 20, hundreds of companies offering the same thing. What differentiates you and the next company? Sometimes it's not even your services anymore. It's the person that fronts the services, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point. Just moving on because we are running out of time.
Yeah, we are 1 hour up.
1 hour up. Yes, running to our next one question, and then we'll finish off with one interesting question for you all to sum up. What are some two practical and feasible tips that you can share with the audience to help them kind of kickstart their journey?
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So what are two practical and feasible tips? Why I said the word feasible, right? Because we don't know where our entrepreneurs, business owners, where they're coming from, right? So what is something that right now they can kind of start doing? So I think what Udesh said earlier about the SWOT thing is something that they can really start doing. But what else? What else can you all offer that they can actually go back and start them out on this journey right now?
Cheryl, when you say this journey, is it referring to the pandemic times, the new
Yes,
normal?
now, right now, like moving, like they're listening to the show today, right? What can they do right now? Because there's a lot of stuff we can do in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, but what can we do right now to kind of kickstart and do something? Because a lot of people are just sitting and kind of waiting of what to do, or as you mentioned, waiting for the pandemic to be over. But a lot of you in the business world understand that it's not going to be the next 3 months or 6 months, or you know even till the end of the year. So what can they do? What are some tips that you guys can offer, or maybe something that you're already doing that you can share?
Okay.
Okay, then yeah.
Vyasa, you want?
Anyone?
Yeah, I can go on this one lah. So like the first thing is you have to take stock of what you have right now. That's the first thing you should do. Okay, so once you have settled down, you have come to the right frame of mind, or maybe like in the process of coming to the right frame of mind, I think you got to get yourself equipped, because like it or not, there are few things that is real, and you can't deny this, right? The first thing is a lot of people are going to be at home, and they're still going to be at home for a while. Okay, like as I know, a lot of businesses are coming back to business. They're starting to work again, but they are like at 30% workforce or 50% workforce. And then remember, kids are still at home. Okay, so those who are dealing with kids and all, we have to know that if kids are going to be at home, yeah, Cheryl. So 50%, and then somebody is going to have to take care of them also, right? So this is what's happening really. And then there are some businesses are like they're going to the office like 2 days once, 3 days once, and all. So this is what's out there. What we have and what's out there, we have to come to a point first. So there are businesses like, for example, swimming, right? How do you support swimming when it's a totally physical business, right? You have a physical swimming place. Today a lot of swimming pools, swimming schools, they offer their trainings from the shop lot, where they have their own shop lot, and then they have a swimming pool built in. Is basically like an indoor swimming pool, right? So what are they going to do? How are they going to do things like online? Okay, so to relate to that, first thing is, I think you got to still take stock first, and then you have to brainstorm with other people. You have to mix around with other people. You cannot just mix around with the same group of people that you are with. For example, if I'm in the swimming school industry and I'm just mixing around with the same swimming school people, what do they say? No, you cannot do anything. You just we have to wait this out, and until people dare to go back to the pools again. But what's going to happen if you have like 30 people, 40 people in your staff, swimming instructors, admin people, and all that? Nothing's going to happen there. So like it or not, I think there are a few things. First thing I would say is start talking to people who are out of your business. You have to brainstorm. Because you got to think in a different way. Okay, I will share with you a story about the swimming pool guy who really transformed things. All right. So the second thing is, I think, like it or not, we are at home, and our only view towards the outside world is online. So when I refer to the Guru A, Guru B, Guru C, and all those things, I'm not putting them down. It's just that they are good in their field, but there are a lot of gurus out there who are really good. It's just that you have to take note of what is suitable for you. Doesn't mean the guru is bad. It's just that you need to choose what is important for you and then focus on it and go deep, because you cannot go just light and then expect a new whole business to come and happen, right? So the first thing is you got to think out of your regular circle of friends and a regular way of thinking. The second thing is you have to start learning about online. Like it or not, you have to learn, and you can learn from people, right? I think Khushboo is one of them. You can talk to her. All right. So the thing is, like that, I'll share with you this story about this swimming pool. This friend who's actually running a swimming school, and how he pivoted online. Okay. His name is EJ. He runs the swimming 12. All right. Okay, so they had about, I think, 40 to 50 staff, and of course, it's a big nightmare for people like him, and I'm sure there are a lot of businesses like this, right? So what happened was, he got with his team, and then suddenly an idea came out. What about if I teach students who regularly actually go into water, but now they're at home, uh, how to swim online? That means the science aspect, the physical aspect, the movement, the videos on this thing, which we normally don't have time to do it in the normal days. Okay, and when they pitched the idea to the parents, and they bought it. So the first month they had about, when they had quite a good number of sign up, which is helping them a lot, staying afloat. And then the second month, retaining, the amount of people who are retaining the same after the first month, that speaks a lot, right, about a business, is 90%. Okay, and the good thing here is, now, from, let's say, they were only based in Klang Valley, they can repeat the same business in Johor, in Penang, in Kuantan, in Sabah, in Sarawak, in Singapore, while all the while just physically being in Klang Valley. Because if 90, let's say 100 people can join the class in Klang Valley, that means 100 people can join any part of the world. It's just how you scale it, how you teach it, how you make it interesting, and everything's online. So I think, like it or not, first thing is, what they did was, back again to the 2 points they gave, right? First thing is, we have to start talking to other friends. People like consultants and all are out there right now. And in fact, this is a good time to talk to consultants, coaches, and people who brainstorm. People like Udesh also. Yeah, he has dealt with a lot of startups and all, right? So they have a lot of ideas. So this is a good time to talk to people like this. Just at least pick their brains a little bit, and sometimes you can get a nugget which can help you a lot throughout the next few months. Okay, so then the second thing is, you have to learn online. You have to know what is it like to be present. At least have a Facebook page, how to do some simple ads, how to get out there, how to translate things to business. So of course there are people who offer these services. I think, Khushboo, you offer this kind of services also, right? Right. So you got to know something, and then if you feel like it's too much of things, you got to hire people who are good and quickly get on to this. Because trust me, even though things are going to come back to almost like 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, people are still going to be slow in a lot of physically close proximity social situations. All right, so we have to be prepared online for a while at least. Okay, so those are my two strong points for during this time to recover fast.
What about
Nice.
Udesh? You wanted
And
to
yeah,
discuss further?
and true. I mean, perfect. Vyasa, you actually hit on the main points. I would just perhaps just add up another small point, is that what I also like to tell personally to people, whenever you want to, in fact, do something, or even perhaps what you say, add on to something, make sure you are just sitting within yourself and get offline. Getting online later with the idea is fine, but don't go online and look for an idea. Because
Yeah.
these days, thanks to Google, which is a guru himself, thank God, Yahoo Guru already closed the coffin box, um, uh, many people just get diverted. I'll be honest with you. In fact, when I go online looking for something, and if I don't pen it down with my pen and paper, even I get lost as well, because
Yeah.
that is the digital world, so called, that we live in today. And whatever that comes usually on the first pages, and I tell people always, when you want to search for data, number one, make sure they are facts and figures. Number two, whenever you want to read something, make sure they are not from those ads that you get on Google. Because why? Those are paid ads. And not only the visibility is want to be out there, the whole idea is that not only how legit, we're not talking about legitimacy over here. I mean, how true is it? But is that, where is the source coming from? So I always tell people, when you want to start off something, it can be even as simple as starting perhaps a banana fritter stall. Look, get offline. And what is your strength? Because you have bananas in your mom's kitchen, or because you are good in cooking? Forget about all the other ideas first. Look at the core business, what you can do within yourself. I always tell people, go to the basics. Because sometimes without getting the idea, when you get online, then you get, oh, I don't want to do banana fritters. I want to do banana splits, And then where do I get ice cream from? Oh, I think so. The packaging is important. No, I need a online first. Oh, gone, man. That you are just lost from banana fritters. You just went on to so some focus. So I always tell people, get to basics.
So I think the
It's
focus
fine
is
to
important, right, Udesh? The
yeah
focus.
get focused and get offline. I always tell people, start offline is fine. You need online to be visible to people, to public, but start everything offline, because then you have your real tracks towards your goal. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Udesh.
I think you guys have covered already so much, and and we're quite up the time. So I'm going to make it super, super, super crisp here. Because you guys said what to do, I'm just going to quickly say what not to do. Don't get overwhelmed with too much of things happening around you, because you might see some people more than ever just coming online and doing stuff, and some people who are not doing it all, and they might get superly overwhelmed. So just don't get that overwhelmed. As Udesh and Vyasa already mentioned, that have your focuses right. That's the core thing. And at the same time, just don't follow the bandwagon. The bandwagon of just what everybody is doing. Okay, I have to do. Okay, I saw someone creating content. Tomorrow I'll create content. I saw someone texting and then chit chatting and then putting out that in a Zoom call and then putting out that Zoom. I want to do that as well. Oh, I saw a team lunch. I want to do that. So avoid being a part of a bandwagon and focus on where your energies should be, where you want to get. Just take a niche. As soon as you get that niche, if you focus during this time on this niche, post that niche can help you get business, because people are looking for experts and not jack of all trades only. You can be jack of all trades, but be master of one. So that is what I would heavily say, guys. And very and if anybody, go online, do stuff. If you don't want to go online, don't want to go online. But the fact is that trying is a good way, but getting people to help you is something that don't miss out on. Let someone guide you through the process. If it's for parents, their kids can guide. If it's for friends, their friends can guide. If you know a expert in the field, just get that person to guide you in the correct direction. And I love what Udesh say, that don't just get carried away with these ads and all. So yeah, just don't follow the bandwagon. Just don't look at the naysayers. Just don't do what people are doing. Too much of content. So don't get overwhelmed with too much of content flowing every single day. I'm going live, I know, but I still want to say 10 Vyasa is going live. I know, but I'm not trying to pinpoint on us. We all have a separate audience. I'm trying to say that unless you fall under that group of content, don't watch that live, even if it's mine. If that's not what you want to be, don't watch it. Don't waste that 1 hour. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because it's happening, focus on where you want to get and go there and be there, rather than being everywhere.
Right.
So that would be my one thing.
True.
I think if you think about all the things that we've been talking about, right, whether it's from Udesh or Vyasa, the themes around it is basically focus, right? And it's niche, right? And
Yes.
you're looking at what you're good at, utilize, maximize what you're good at, and focus on it and build from there. You
Yes.
know? And be very cautious about what you are feeding yourself. Be calm. I mean, these are some of the common themes that I believe that throughout our conversation today. And for us to close up, because we are about 6 minutes from 6:30, which is 1.5 hours. That's our maximum time. I'm just going to leave you all with the last question, which I feel is a very interesting question. Okay, listen very carefully. If you could fast forward to mid 2021, all right. So we're looking to 2021, not right now. Okay, 2021 mid-year, say June next year. All right. What is the advice you would give your current self, yourself today? I mean. All right. So I repeat again. If you could fast forward to mid 2021, what is the advice you would give your current self?
I would go first, and I really have to say this, and I'm see, when you advise something means you're not okay at that thing. And I think really, because too many things are happening, I would say, Khush, I wish you were more focused than you were that time. I don't mind saying that. I mean, seriously overwhelmed with things happening at work and on a lot of grounds. I would really want to focus on. I would really want to focus on focusing. I think that's one advice I would want to give. So now that Cheryl, you have made me think on an advice I want to give myself. I don't want to give this advice. So I am heavily focusing on getting my focuses clear and making sure that I just give my energies to the thing which makes sense and not everywhere that it should be. So yeah, I would say that would be one thing that I can definitely talk about. Though a whole lot of energies have gone into a lot of things we are doing at the moment, and LinkedIn Corner is the biggest attention for us at this point of time, and that's what I want to give time to. But there are other things that does take my energies, and that's where I want to just detach and focus more on LinkedIn Corner than beyond anything. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm really sorry, but I have to make a move, and I hope you guys will rock the session. Cheryl, CC, thank you for inviting. I love you guys. Every time I meet, I love the energy. It's my virtual hug. Please take it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your
Thank you so much.
yeah, really
Yeah, and
interesting
Vyasa, thank you
time.
so much for being a wonderful co-panel. I love the insights that you shared.
Thank
So
you.
you guys have to meet after MCO, then I think we should have a
Ah,
party.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
I'm all up for it. Let's do
See you
it.
after that.
yeah,
Thanks,
yeah,
Khushboo. Thanks, Khushboo. Udesh
Guys,
also had to go, guys.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
bye.
Thank you, bye.
So we're down to Vyasa, the thorn among the roses, or is it the rose among the thorns? I don't know. So Khushboo says get your focus on Khushboo. Yeah. So from 2021, she's gonna come back and tell herself to like, hey, focus. What about you, Vyasa? What would you say to yourself?
I would say, looking back, I say just be calm and enjoy the ride, lah. So because I think there's a lot of things happening. Again, like I totally understand what Khushboo is facing, and a lot of other business people are facing. Through all the talks earlier, because everyone's doing something, and there's a lot of reaction happening, right? Rather than responding, and I can understand. Everybody is sort of like moving in some direction, right? So for me, I think the big thing is actually just be calm and enjoy the ride, lah. Because there are so many rides going to come. More rides going to come. So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
trying to
think
do that right now.
I think that's a great point, and we've had a lot of fun during the show already. It was quite exciting.
yes,
We
very
personally learned
a
so much.
lot of information and digesting the information is really mind blowing. Seriously.
Maybe we can put this into our, like put it into our nugget here and keep it so that we ourselves decide to start a business one day. Maybe we'll be a little wiser, having learned
Yeah,
from the three of you. I think
yeah,
there's a lot of interesting points that you all brought up. And
yes,
for me, being a person who's not very focused, I want to dip my spoon everywhere. I think it's a very good advice for me as well to focus. And this is what I'm learning during the MCO. And having spoken to a lot of interesting people like Veronica, Owusu, yourself, speaking to Hani, I've realized one of the core things that individuals, whether they're in a business or employee, is focus. I think focus is a very important thing. Knowing what your strengths are can actually pivot you during any time, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's economic crisis, whether you've lost your job, regardless of the situation. So I think we've had a really, really good discussion,
yeah,
and we've been able to actually get some tips, get some ideas on how you can cope if you're struggling, right? How can you thrive? How can you move on and not stick and stay stagnant? I think the important point at the end of the day is that we push forward. So, any
yes.
last words, Yi and Vyasa, that you want to say to the audience before we officially close for the day?
I think so far this session is very interesting. Very a lot of insights and definitely a lot of informations that can definitely take up a lot of how do you say self reflecting on the grounds that we are in. So I really thank all of you guys for sharing so much of all this information with us, and I can see that you guys are really trying to help out a lot and share a lot of your what you have learned so far, to hopes that everyone can take something out of this from this session today. So thank you so much for you guys. Yeah.
You want to talk to them about the next series that we're going to talk about?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So our usual thing before we end. So next series, we are actually looking more towards employability, because I think that is also one of the current issues that people is facing right now, about unemployment and possibility or prediction of what is on demand in terms of job wise moving forward after this pandemic thing altogether. So that is going to be what we are looking into. We are definitely trying to get some recruiters or some of the HR expertise to go and come in and share with us their insights about their prediction of employability after this. So that's going to be next week. Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the
Thank you
Me
so much.
series.
Thank you,
And
Vyasa.
thank you, God, for the great connection.
Yeah, I know. And thank
Yeah.
you for all your time that you have. Yes.
Right, Vyasa? Thank God the connection didn't go
Oh,
off or I didn't disappear.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
smooth today.
Yeah.
very
Seriously.
smooth.
That's good.
We're
So
very
thank you so much,
thankful.
everyone, for your time. Yeah. Thank you. See you
So,
guys.
bye.
See you
Bye.
guys.